Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Just Shelve It. My name is Jesse Arnold, and this is Shooting the Shelf, episode 18. I just wanted to say thank you, all of you, for tuning in tonight and all the times that you folks join, whether it's live or on the replay. I really appreciate having you here. Quick shout out to folks in the chat: Dave Orkin, Dan Tobin, Jay Wright, Curtis Ackerman. Let's see, Jamie Sutt. Elijah Baker, Oz is here, Tom Clayton, JMac. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us here. Got the special, this over here, Cabal-ized Meep as my logo tonight because we have a very special guest. Actually, every guest is special. It's always fun to talk to everybody that gets to come on here. So without further ado, let's invite, with a warm digital round of applause, the one and only Walter the Mad.
Yay, me.
Welcome to the shelf, Walter. How are you doing this evening?
Pretty good, brother. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Thanks for having me, of course. I was just rambling and talking to you in private there. So good to see you again. I always love your show. And I was just telling my wife, like, you're one of the people that make me happy to just watch the show and enjoy it. I was telling her, like, this is one of the shows that's on YouTube and the Facebook group that's just, it's entertaining. It's always cool to see. And I just feel like we're hanging out and just
Absolutely.
Just BSing, man, and always good to see you, man.
Likewise. I know I didn't get to hang out with you too much at Legion's Con. It was a crazy weekend, but you were in your element doing your thing, and just that was awesome.
Yeah, I have to say, like, I'm almost embarrassed because I was running around so much that I feel like I didn't get to see one particular person versus another. But I would see everybody, and I kind of was joking, and I did the math in a sense to where I said if I had spent 5 minutes with everybody at the show, it would have been 5 days worth of interaction, and it felt like it was almost too much to where it was like you'd stop and say hello to somebody for 5 minutes and give them your time and shake their hand and ask how they're doing, and they'd be like, "Well, oh man, I'm so glad to see you," and then I'd get pulled away, and it's like I'm so glad I took hundreds and hundreds of photos because it was almost overwhelming of how many people I got to see and hang out with and everything. Just at the show alone, that wasn't going into the lobby that we all saw. Wasn't hanging outside at intern, but I added it up. Like I said, it was like 5 days worth of interaction. If you just spent 5 minutes with everybody just to say hi and hang out and give a hug and say something, it was mind blowing how many people pulled me aside just to say hello. It was the coolest thing ever. Like I'm still excited from it. I look at my and post up and shared with the horsemen, shared with friends. I was just talking to yourself and Dave and Jay and Dennis and Nikki and a bunch of other folks in private. Like the amount of people and the amount of photos and just the amount of time spent with everybody. It was wild. It was wild.
Yeah. It was an absolute blast. I went last year for the first time when I didn't know what the Cabal was. I wasn't really involved in anything yet.
Yeah.
And that changed real quick when I got home. But just to be there on the other side of a table this year and just to see how much had grown since last year, and just it was just really cool. And and every time I'd look around, you were in a different part of the room, and I think you put in 5 days worth of hellos to everybody into.
I had the first day alone, and I was explaining to my wife a few times, and I showed all the video and the photos and stuff. But the amount of running around I did, like the first day alone, my feet were killing me. And I work on my feet and outside for a living. I am walking. I walk more than probably 95% of the people out there. I probably walk miles and miles every day just doing my landscaping and everything. But my feet and my knees were killing me just because of running back and forth and walking around and saying hi to everybody. That by like the second day, I was wearing flip flops, and I like such, and it was like almost embarrassing. But everybody just thought it was hilarious, and I go, you guys don't understand. I'm like, my like I need to take my shoes off and just. Times I had to go sit in a corner and just kind of hide out with my friend Nikki, and it just unbelievable if you like the amount of walking and running around that we all did.
Yeah.
I didn't have that luxury of kind of being in one spot behind a table and what do you call it, just having people kind of pass by and showing what I have. Like I'm not like a painter or an artist or a maker like yourself. I'm me, so I'm just like this reality, and I don't have that like designated home base, but it also makes it fun because I'm walking along and to the like shock of people at times, they'd be like, Walter, and I'd stop. I'd be like, hey, how you doing? And I'd reach out and shake their hand, and they'd be like, oh, hey, Jesse Arnold, nice to meet you. And I'd be like, hey, man, my name's Walter, nice to meet you. They're like, I know who you are. I'm introduced. and to put the name and the face together and a voice, it was
Yeah.
it was pretty pretty wild at times. There's a few times where I was like almost like breaking down and just like emotional, wanting to tear up, meeting somebody for the first time. Some people, meeting them for the first time in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, let alone for the first time, ever. Uh,
Hmm.
but it was pretty wild, man. It was just, it blows my mind just still. So
Yeah, and I mean, thanks to you, and I know they're talking about it in the chat. Cullen, between you guys, and I know a lot of other people did a lot of pictures too, but like I missed pulling my phone out, forgetting to take so many pictures. So thanks to you guys, I was able to see a lot of stuff that I didn't get around to at the show, and
yeah,
it's very clear how much you love not only the figures in the line, but the community, which is definitely your thing. So
yeah,
um, you really you you made it fun and look like fun, and yeah, that's one of the
thanks. Yeah,
uh,
is even get oh man, I'm losing track of names at the moment. But the guy that was videoing everybody, he had hit me up and said, "Hey, how do I get a ticket to the show?" And I said, "Don't worry, I'll get you into the show." And he goes, "Well, I'm the guy that, I'm going to record everything and video it." And I go, "I'll get you into the show. I want you there so you can record us. So that way everybody can go back on YouTube and find the video and then watch the video. So that way, like guys like yourself and I, that we remember what we remember, but we don't see each
yeah.
individual." Plus, the guy was a videographer, and he's making like cool video edits of like who's there and the booths, and he's
Was
talking
that
about.
um was that Milo from the Geeked Out show? Is that who it was?
I want to say that there was a couple guys that did it.
Okay.
I have the guy's card and stick.
Okay.
But there was he was, I think, Leland's friend.
Yeah, because I was right next to Leland's table, so he was kind of camped out with his gear there.
Yeah, so he was Leland's buddy, and thank God that Leland got me in contact with him. I told the guy, I'll get you in. I said, don't worry about it, and he was just excited. It's okay. My wife opening the pantry.
Oh,
But it was just great to have somebody like that to get him into the show, have a videographer document it, because like you said, I'm at least aware enough nowadays, especially over the last several years of doing this, and I only do it for like Mythic Legions. I couldn't imagine collecting other lines and going to other conventions and trying to do what I do, and video and take photos and stuff and selfies and be like, hey guys, look at, and I mean, I couldn't imagine being, some of the YouTube guys that do this regularly. But I'm at least aware to like take photos now and selfies, and always ask people. I go, let me, they want to meet me and say hello, but I want to take their photo and shake their hand and say, let me take
Hmm.
a photo with me. And I mean, it's amazing at times how people love that, because they forget. I mean, I think I was talking to my friend Dave about it, Dave Orkin, and his wife, that um, he had asked if he had photos of us, and I go, yeah, man. I said, I'll send you a photo and make sure that you guys know that we hung out. And he goes, oh man, well, I forgot to take photos. We went to Dave and I went to dinner, we hung out, we did so many different things, and I'm running around. And like I said, it goes back to that part where it's like I've spent 5 minutes here and 10 minutes with them here and there, but at least I took photos with them, and that moment, so I can go, look, like, here's our selfie, we're having a great, I'll see you later, come to dinner with me, I'll see you at dinner. And he's just like, okay man, and then off I go. So the, the best part is, people like Dave and everybody that I could spend more than 5 minutes with, or I'd go to dinner with, and they loved every second of it, and I was just super excited and super happy to be visiting with all those people.
Oh, absolutely.
And it means the world to me. I love the community. I love seeing the art. I love seeing what everybody's making. But man, it's so cool to sit there and make sure I take that photo with them,
Hmm.
and they feel like special because they're stopping and excited to meet me, and I'm just like, well, I'm nobody. I'm just the guy that's hanging out having fun. I want them and meet them and get their photos, and they're just like, but you're Walter.
That's right. You are Walter. You're not nobody. I mean,
So
a huge part of, I mean, not trying to overplay this, but I mean, the Cabal has literally been a huge impact on my life for the past year, and the friends I've been able to make through it, which maybe we would have gotten in contact some other way, but it's largely because of the Cabal, and the line of toys. So I mean, that's, you know, um, I just think, I mean, my life isn't like a completely different person, but there's a lot more positive in it now with the Cabal and with everybody I've been able to meet, including yourself.
yeah,
Um, because I guess I technically would have met you at Legion's Con last year, but I think we had a little bit of an introduction at ZoloCon back in March this year.
yeah.
I think was when I knew who you were at that point, and
You
but
start,
that was even crazy. What was that?
that's funny, is that's like when you like recognize me and you go, oh wait, that's the guy from the thing that I'm. And but that's the fun of it. Like I don't think of myself as anybody different than anybody else. I think it's great to meet everybody and introduce themselves, and hang out, and everything from the times we've gone to ZoloCon, to Legion's Con, to some of the shows at um, like Philadelphia and New Jersey, and just regular shows like it.
Hmm.
um, and it means the world to me. And to have that interaction with people that are just genuinely excited and having fun, um, and collecting the figures that we all enjoy, but to have like a face and that name recognition and the voice to put it together, and then meet them,
Hmm.
to where it's just, it ties it all together, and you're just like, man, like you're the guy that did this stuff. And I joke to people at times. Excuse me. I joke to people at times. I'm like, oh, I'm just me. And they go like, no, but like you're the reason I'm on Facebook, or you're the reason I do this, and
Hmm.
wouldn't have been part of this if it wasn't for you reaching out to me and being so open and nice and polite. And I'm like, oh man, you're gonna make me cry here for a second. I'm just on with everybody. I like all the same stuff that you do. I just want everybody
Yeah.
my friend, you know. So
And that's one of the best parts about, the people who are fans of Legions, especially the folks in the Cabal and in the Facebook and Instagram pages that and they were talking, I think on the My Wife Is Gonna Kill Me podcast today, I think it was them. They said how there's so much creative stuff and everybody was selling similar stuff, but there's no sense of like competition.
mhm.
I mean, there might be some playful one between, friends like, oh, I sold 5 heads. Oh yeah, I sold six, but playful, but like it's just because everybody's going to get what they like and everybody does just enough a little bit differently that it really does still have that whole community vibe. And Jay saying he wants to take you to prom, so we've got that. So
Jay, I can't wait to. Jay's one of those guys. He's my brother from another country, and I swear he's one of those guys that we joke back and forth that like I'm gonna go to vacation just to go hang out with him in Canada, and he's gonna come down to Lodi, and we're just gonna just hang out and visit and whatever and talk about toys, go home, and but that's the thing. It's just having that relationship with people, that making them feel like they're equal. They're everybody's doing the same thing. We're all having fun in our own
hmm.
retrospect of like you know. I get excited when people are showing me what they got today. It's like when we were talking earlier, right before the show got on. I get excited that I can show you what I bought today, and
Hmm.
wow, man, look at that. I had like up here in the comments that are like people are texting me going, man, that's cool, Walt. Did you get this and this? And I go, no, I got to go back and get more. It's that relationship and interaction that like just a family friendly brotherhood of just that's that's relatable, and we're all having fun.
Yeah,
There's in my opinion, there's no reason to feel um, someone's doing something better than somebody else, because we're all playing with toys and having fun doing it, and
exactly.
we just want to share it in a space. Like I've told people, I would take the world in Facebook and just make it all relatable again. Like look, like we're all having fun. Like this is my
Hmm.
what I collect, and you get excited, and I'm like, wow, like you collect the same thing I do. Like hell yeah, this is great. And it goes into the parts of like when people are painting, they're 3D printing, and they're sculpting, they're making digital art, they're making like handcrafted soft goods, they're making just like clothing, apparel. I think all that stuff's cool. Yeah, I can't make any of that stuff. I can't do that, but I sure can talk about it and people together and make them have fun doing it.
Yeah. Well, that's a huge thing. I mean, not everybody has those social skills or the desire to use those social skills the way you do. So, I enjoy the Cabal in the community, but I'm a little bit introverted. Like there's a certain point I'm like, all right, I gotta step back and do that. But I know you're talking with people all the time, especially with so many people on different time zones from you. You
Yeah.
know, there's times I send you a message to ask about something or see how you're doing, and I'm like, oh, he'll see this later. He's probably asleep or whatever. And like 5 minutes later, you're like right back with it.
But like there's just yeah, that's cool. Yeah, and that's a lot of it. Um, is a lot of people don't have that regular interaction with just a buddy, and I've always enjoyed being buddies with people. And it amazes me at times, of all the people that do want to interact and they just want to share something and show me something. And like I said, I get excited to see all that stuff. Like
Yeah.
I tell people, like, let me see what you're working on because I'm interested. Send me photos. What'd you collect? What'd you buy? And I'll get those. And um, I joke to my wife a lot of the times that she'll be like, "Who's texting you now?" and what's going on. And I'll get people from like England to Australia, Japan, Canada, Mexico, all over the world, and not including the 20 or 30 messages a day I get from people from all over the country in America.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me excited and happy to where like some of these guys are genuinely like just sharing what they're doing and what they're working on.
Yeah.
And on, hey, I just painted this, check this out. And I'm like, wow, that's neat. That is cool because I don't have the time and I don't have the skill to sit there and I don't have the patience to sit there and paint something. And I don't always have the funds and everything to go out and buy like some of the guys out there. I have my family and we pay our bills and we stay organized as best as we can. But I have friends that are single dudes and they're able to buy stuff that I've never even seen before online.
Yeah.
This is me. And I have friends that are hardcore collectors, and I have friends that are just basic collectors, and they'll buy stuff at Target that I never see, and then there's other guys that buy stuff online that I have never even heard of, and they're sharing it.
Right.
I just all that stuff. It gets me so excited.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and that's another awesome trait of yours is getting excited, seeing other people getting excited about stuff. Cause, and again, that's a whole attitude and I think atmosphere that's in the Cabal in general. I think largely, the groups tend to reflect the leadership and as you being the admin and creator of it, like that definitely reflects down when you interact with so many posts and so does the other admins and stuff. Like Cullen's always in there doing stuff and Jeremy and um the other guys and everything, and it's just really cool because the Facebook allows you to be sociable without a lot of the in-face interaction, so when you get to shows and stuff you can
Mhm.
really save up that energy for all that sort of thing, at least for me. um
Yeah.
but yeah, so that's really cool that
Facebook and Instagram, and even going back to like MySpace, it shows
oh man.
um, how old we are. And but it always made me excited because you'd have that interaction. When I would tell people, I said, you'd have these interactions with people, and you got to remember, like, these are people that are your friends, even if you don't see them once a year,
Hmm.
or you're only friends with them online, or you see them every single day. It was always interesting to me, like the social aspect of it, where it's just like, you know, you're you're interacting with somebody that's like your friend and an acquaintance that they know you, but at the same time, they're not with you 24/7,
Hmm.
or not next door. They're not within. You're like yourself. It's like you're on the other side of the country of me, but I will love to spend the time and interact with you. And every time I see you, it's always the most just welcoming experience and just exciting to meet, and see it.
Well, what was it, RetroCon? Sean and I got there a little bit late in the day, and we bumped into like two or three guys from the Cabal as we were coming in, and a couple people that were in the lines. And then I'm like, I gotta hit the restroom. I walk into the bathroom, and like there you are, like washing your hands. It's just like, hey, well, it was just like, oh man, he's right here, um,
And then
and it's just,
you sit there and you're using the restroom for 10 minutes, and then we're in the bathroom chatting it up. And it's like, we need to bathroom. This is kind of awkward.
yeah. uh, Well, you were talking about. I'm gonna do a little quick plug here. At the end of the show, when we're all done, I've got some information for the Wolf Dens live stream coming up with Steven and
Mhm.
Emil and Curtis in 2 weeks, I think, on December 3rd. So I'll have some more information on that. So if anyone's waiting for that, that'll come at the end. So you got to watch the whole thing or just come back later. So
So let's-
Walter, yes, Mark Walter, he was washing his hands as I walked into the restroom, and I had to wait my turn. So I think we just did an elbow bump or something in there. Just yeah.
I'm pretty
Um,
sure I gave you a hug or whatever, and then you went
um,
not exactly subtle at times. I'm like, hey, and then like,
yeah,
you know,
and that's fun. Like,
you know,
um, yeah, we got some more people. Joe's here, Trevor, Douglas, Mark Rivera, um, Mark and Anthony Halseal, Billy Beige,
yeah.
Oz. Yeah, Oz. I was on last night. I got invited. Sean and I got invited to join Ostradamus Toys on his show with Brick something and a gentleman. It goes by the name of Eldor, who asked us to come help educate about Mythic Legions because they both are kind of new into the line. Oz had just gotten the Headless Horseman, which I think has been a huge figure for a lot of people that aren't into the Mythic Legions
Oh,
to come in on.
it's
So it was cool, and they asked us to come back next month and do a little more because we didn't even get into we scratched the surface, of Mythic Legions. So yes, Eldor of Masterversal Toy Hunter.
okay. I don't think
So
I met him yet.
um, so they're folks. I think they're largely coming out of the Masters of the Universe and that side of things. And I think Mythic Legions is a really good
Yeah,
sibling kind of franchise concept for folks to jump into. So
amazing. It's amazing recently, especially looking on like Instagram, how many people have that connection of the headless horseman and the figure of Spira line, which is what it's meant for. Uh,
mhm.
um, like like I heard some of the hints for something coming up that it's just one of those cool things where you're just like they're trying to bring people in from different areas and not like a He-Man, or they're not like a GI Joe guy, they're not a Dungeons and Dragons character guy. They're just, hey, this is a cool figure, and I like the headless horseman. And oh,
Mhm.
Krampus is really neat. I mean, we have mutual friends that they love Krampus as a character all in themselves, and it's one of those characters that if you're gonna like, I mean, if you're gonna buy like a Mythic Legions figure, like here's one that stands alone. It's a Krampus. Look at like you get it in hand. You're like, oh my god, this is so neat. Look at all the
Mhm.
look at the detail. And this thing only was like $40, like or $50 on the aftermarket. Like oh my god. And it's amazing to see like in the Facebook group and the Instagram of all the people that are seeing that for the first time, and they're like, I need to know more about Mythic Legions. I have, this one figure, and I need to know more. I heard there was, knights and ogres and trolls and
Mhm.
skeletons. My son.
Yeah, I think doing the Headless Horseman this year and then doing the Necronominus wave, especially since that was a lot of the original wave of figures were knights and skeletons. I think that kind of coming back to that and being a thing that is going to grab a lot of people's attention. I'm not sure the numbers. I know the Cabal broke 4,000 recently,
It's like
or
right.
right at.
It's right there.
Okay.
What happens is like Facebook rounds up. And
Okay.
it's right. It's like it just rounds up, and then the actual like amount of people that are using Facebook daily versus like the amount of people that are like clicked on and joined. It's like right there. Like here's 4,000, but we're at like 39 something, etc.
Okay.
So it's there, and then the amount of people that use it daily is in the 90 percentile. So like the people that use it, and you look at it like 7 days a week, and somebody that always clicks on, they're always looking at it because of what we all love and enjoy. It amazes me, and I've shown that to the guys, the horsemen, and they're blown away. Where it's just like 3,700 people look on on the Cabal every day, and I'm just like, that's amazing.
Hmm.
And then the interaction and the amount of commenting versus some of the other groups, and it's all positive and simple interaction where, oh my god, like last week and 2 weeks ago with Legion's Con. I mean, it was like, I want to say it was like 11,000 posts in a week.
Wow.
It was just insane. I mean, that's a very bloated reality to it, but there's so many people that are posting daily and making comment and putting on a post and then commenting on it. But like, because of the convention and the releases of the new figures and stuff like that, it's it's unlike anything else. Because you look at like a simple um, collectors group, you can name any of them, and you can look at their numbers at times, and it's just like, hey, 100 posts for the week, or 50 posts for the day. Ours are like 1,000, and it's all interaction. It's like somebody that yourself, like that, you post something and, hey, look what I've created, and then there's a dozen comments of people interacting with you,
Hmm.
excited to see what you're doing. And then there's people like Anthony Halcyon, he's making something, and people are like, wow, like, how'd you make this? And you can see the interaction and the comments. And then
Hmm.
half a dozen people in there are posting that, like, oh, I've bought Anthony Halcyon's X, Y, and Z, and this is how I painted it, and this is, and it's that kind of interaction to where people have that excitement and friendship and the positivity of like hey, Anthony made this, or Jesse's painted that. Well, Jesse, how'd you paint that? And you're going, well, I painted it because of this, this, and this, and this is why.
Hmm.
It's not just like, hey, I just put it out there and nobody else.
Yeah.
So
And like, and we've got Legion's Lair every other Monday, or excuse me, every other Tuesday, and then Brian Almeida's like crafting dio building stuff the other Tuesdays.
so talented.
um I do the Mythic Minutes Thursday night. What Sean and
Mm-hmm.
oh, I just blanked on his name, Dusty, started the drawing prompts.
Mm-hmm.
And there's been a bunch of great pictures posted on that.
Right?
um
Have you seen some of the art that they've done? That's
oh
all.
yeah, yeah,
Oh,
that
I need to talk to them about making like a coloring book or something. Oh my god. Like they had some of the coolest art recently.
Well, and then what? David Williams did the one of Necronominus, and then Emil took it and digitally colored it. I think it was Emil.
Yeah, Emil did.
Um, and it's just, again, it's just that collaborative process, where they're just doing it for fun, and I think that's really cool for the folks who don't do the painting and stuff, but have other artistic avenues. And you've got like some people that do like was it Braku Prime did the intro for the Horseman show, the 4-ish o'clock and everything. There's and like you were talking about the guys that were filming at the convention. There's just,
There's so many different outlets.
yeah.
It blows my mind. Like, I mean, even getting ready for Legion's Con, I had a dozen different artists that I sponsored and did something with that were at the show and helped make stuff. Everybody, I mean, I won't list all of them, but like everybody from like Nate Barch to Melissa Somerville and several other people that I helped out doing stuff um, um that like I give them something or I help them with it to have like an outlet so they can create what they create.
Mm-hmm.
And I go, I don't want anything from it. I just want to see you guys do what you do. And it's completely amazing to see like how those people made something of what their skill is. Like I said, it goes back to like having the painters and the artists. Tom Whalen was one of them that did new Cabal art in a reimagined.
Mm-hmm.
I have like three or four other guys that I worked with too that did similar things where they made like new art for myself, and they were just excited to do it and create something. I mean, Emil Wickman was another one that I still have to reveal some of that stuff where he did something for me, and it was like a kid's line. It was like a kid's Cabal, and I said I want to do it in your art style and your humor, and have fun with it to where your son can put this on and go to school with it, and then and show it and be happy that it's not like this where it's just like some evil demon thing. And Emil just killed the art and the fun of it in like a day, and it's one of those things like I still have to like show and showcase, and let alone I want to make a shirt out of it and a print to where he's just the nicest guy in the world, but
Oh yeah.
so talented, and I want to show some of his stuff off to where I'm just like, I'm excited for you to do this for me. And he's just like, oh, when you get to it, well, don't worry, and all that kind of stuff. But it's so neat to see someone like him be creative, and then he's going, you know, all across the world to come to Legion's Con, and then he's goofing off and having fun. His art, and I'm just like, oh my god, like it's just how do you keep up with some of these guys?
Yeah. I gotta bring this up. Grimlock is heading out, but he wanted to say much love to both of you and thank you for all that you do for the community. And I'm gonna say that right back to you, man. Your daily hobby posts are inspirational on Instagram. I don't know if you've caught those from him, but yeah, every day it's just something new, and that's really cool.
Yeah.
Did you get to try the wine that the house seals brought?
I may have helped push my friend to do that, but yes, I have.
Okay. Oh, we had it. Didn't we sample something of that at RetroCon?
Yes.
Okay.
When
Or it
when
was there.
when I talked to Mark about something like that, and I said, "You need to do this." I said, "We'll figure out how to get around and make it to where like we're not selling it, but we're not giving it away, and we'll make sure the right people do this." And he was so excited to do that. So,
Walter to wine.
um,
I love puns.
but it was so exciting to talk to Mark, and he's the nicest guy. Him and his family, the House Seals, all of them are just the nicest, just wonderful people. I it sucks that I live on the other side of the country and I can't visit and hang out with
Yeah.
him. Thankfully, I do have his phone number and I just talk to him and text him.
Yeah.
But Mark was very excited to do something, and I go, let's make a limited batch, and I said, let's do this and make it to where it's like mythic related. And he got like so excited and creative in the process. He's like, I'm gonna make two of these. I'll make this. I go, okay, it's just make sure you can do it within the time. And in your ability. And he's like, no, I can do this. And he was super excited. And we we had talked and sponsored him in a sense where like we were nice enough to get some of that stuff to the horsemen themselves as like a thank you. And then
Mm.
several YouTubers and people, and Mark was so just excited and to meet people and some of the people that traded with him to get some of the wine. And it was kind of like one of those like you had to know a guy to know a guy to get the wine, you know. And it was so cool to see people come to um, Legion's Con and walking around and they had a bottle of wine and people, what's that? Where'd you get that? And, you know, Mark Mark over here has it, you know, and they're like, whoa, my wife might need one of those bottles. And
I wish I could have tried the mead because I really like mead. And so Mark, if you're watching, I'm gonna have to come down to Philly and get one of those from you.
well, when ZoloCon comes up again in a few months, we'll have to hit up Mr. Halcyo's about that and have some of that for like an event to make sure we all have some again because he had some at his house and it was it's just it's that it's like sweet but not overpowering like you know like some crappy beer or something you know
Mm.
it's it's palatable, it's nice.
Yeah, my I don't know what I was going to go with that. But yeah, the first time I had mead was at the Pennsylvania Renaissance Fair a couple years ago, and I really enjoyed that. And then there's a place right down the street from me that has it, but like they were like super fancy and frou frou about it, and like they were, and I was just like, I got some, and I was like, man, I did not really enjoy that. It was like too much like regular wine for my taste. But anyway, um, yeah, just the amount of creativity across the board from making those, the painting, and you mentioned Melissa. Did you get any of the harnesses for your trolls?
Oh no, I so I was so busy. I ran by like a crazy person, said hi to Melissa, and she's like, "Hey, I've got something for you." And I go, "I'll be right back," and you know, and zipped off like I do. And then I came back by. I saw some of the stuff that she had created. I couldn't spend more than 5 minutes just talking to her for a second, and thankfully I can like same thing talk to Melissa and text her and I apologized to her a couple times and going, look, I couldn't spend more than 5 minutes there looking at everything because I was being pulled in different directions and trying to catch up. And but like I said, thankfully I know Melissa and I can text her and interact with her and see what she has and get more like private um, um, interaction and
Hmm.
with her because it, she's like a perfect example of how like I'm almost embarrassed to be like I couldn't spend enough time at her booth and what she was making and what she was showing, and it was so cool. And she was 10 feet away, like 10 feet away over in this direction from a few times when I was hiding out in Nikki's and Dennis's booth. I couldn't go over and interact and talk to her enough to where I was happy, but she was so busy and I was so busy that it's almost embarrassing. But the good thing is, like I said, I know Nikki, excuse me, I know Melissa enough to where I send her a message and she showed me some of the stuff and she's like, hey, send me your address again. I'm gonna send you this and this and this. And I go,
Oh,
oh.
cool.
So just another talented person. Like
Yeah.
she painted some of the most like interesting figures, customs, and then she had like all the troll accessories and the harnesses. I'm just like, I don't, I don't, I don't think I have enough money to give you for so many that I was on. And she's just like, just let me know which ones you want. And I'll send you a couple of them. It's almost embarrassing. So
I picked up the blue harness because hopefully I'll get Brontus when the All-Star Troll ship or at Zolocon. Hopefully I'll get to pick one of him up. So so I got a blue harness to go with his blue eye.
That those things were so. I man, she had so many different versions of it, and that was so creative. Her Minotaur figures,
Oh
her
yeah.
uh, like like I said, I'm almost embarrassed. Like I remember everything and I see everything and I come by like a crazy and I have like a great photographic memory and I see everything, like look at it and I go, I'll be right back, and then I have to run off and do something. But
Yeah,
she
you talk to like two people, and next thing you know, it's 5 hours later, and you've actually talked to 75 people.
and that's one of the amazing part for me, where it's just like I said before, where if you add up all the time and just the 5 minutes of interacting with every, it turns into 15 minutes, and you've talked to 3 4 people, and then you've talked to 20 people, and it turns into like 2 hours later. um, the I think the most fun of it was going through the line and interacting with people that are like waiting in line to go buy stuff, and I was able to come through and shake hands and say hi to people because they were kind of like they were there and they were dedicated to go in the line, but I could come and interact with people and say hello. I was coming to the people and saying hello and hanging out with them, and they weren't like taken away by, they were trying to rush off to do something else. Like I was on
Hmm.
around doing stuff, but I was able to come into the line and say hello to people, and like people were like blown away that I was coming along and saying hello to them, and they knew who I was and willing to meet them and take a photo with them, and that made my day. That was some of the most fun. So
Yeah, I remember you and Jeremy were doing that at PowerCon when we were in the line out front.
yeah,
And I thought that was really cool that you guys took the time to like come say hi to everybody, and you were handing out the shirts and everything. And yeah, it's just again another really cool thing that you put the effort into walking and talking to people who are there, but they're waiting in that line. Uh, so to have that personal interaction, I'm sure was really. I know it was really cool for me at PowerCon, so I'm sure for the people waiting in the line there, it was really nice too.
it was, it was so neat. And even though I showed up, man, hours late because of my flight and everything, but that PowerCon was one of those, like I remember perfectly that it took me 45 minutes just to get into the building. Um, so many people were in line and excited, and then once I came by, I didn't just like walk in like, hey, I've got stuff to do. People stopped and said, hey, well, hey, how are you doing, and are you here, and have you been inside, have you seen the new display, and I stopped and I hung out and I talked to everybody in line, and then I go, hey, everybody, like, let me go inside and I'll be right back. I'm gonna give you guys all a bunch of shirts. And the families and the friends and the people that were waiting in line were so excited that that there again, they were like, I was stopping this tight time to visit with them, and then let alone all the crazy shirts that Len had made.
Hmm.
Uh, and everybody wanted those things. Yeah, yeah, everybody loved those, and the sweaters and the but the like that exclusive shirt for PowerCon. I remember
Hmm.
that box, and I'm like, oh my god, these things are like neon green and purple, and I'm like, they're freaking rad, and like, but I gave out 100, like there's like 150 shirts in like 45 minutes.
Wow.
I was blown away. And I text Len later. I go, I'm like, dude, you won't believe this, but I gave away, and everybody wanted a shirt, and I gave away those shirts faster than I could even imagine. And he was just like, really? And I go, he like, I wasn't sure about those colors, but I'm like, people love those things. And everybody in line was so excited and so happy to get a shirt. And I just thought that was the coolest thing. And then later you see them at RetroCon and Legion's Con, and people are wearing the same like
Mm-hmm.
green with a purple on it. And I'm like, I know exactly where you got that shirt. I that shirt. That those people
Well,
love.
I was able to finally get one because by the time I'd ever get up to you, you know, I'm slow. I usually let other people go first. By the time I realized shirts were going on at PowerCon and RetroCon, my size was gone. So I was glad to get the one at Legion's Con. So
Oh, I had so many people. Hey, Walt, you got this. You have that size. You have this, and I'm like, I I I didn't think they would go that fast. And same thing at Legion's Con. Like, I saved a couple photos of me where I'm standing there, and I didn't know where the box was because the box kind of got put into storage. Excuse me. The box had been put in the stores for Legion's Con, and he goes, they're super awesome colors. You won't like everybody's gonna want it. It's the most desirable color that we've printed ever. And I go, cool. I go, how many did you print? He told me how many I print. I'm like, holy shit, like that's a lot. Okay. He goes, we got one for Saturday and we got one for Sunday. I finally found the Saturday box. I go walking past everybody. I got this huge box and I open it up. And I swear to God, as soon as I opened it up, it was like, it was like, like, like ants on candy to where I had it and they go, Walt, you got your shirt, right? And I opened them up and I'm like, dude, this color's like really cool. And they were getting out of line for the Legion's Con exclusives and stuff. And I'm like in the lobby and I'm just pulling out shirts. And I've got like extra large on one side and double X on this. And then people are swarming me and they're like, you got this, you got this. And I go, yeah, man. And the funniest part though was when people were trying to give me money at the same time. I go, no, these are all for you guys. These are for you. These are from us. This is from the Cabal. This is from Len LaGuardia. Made these for you guys because of this. And people were just like they're reaching in their wallets and they got their big wad of cash and they're like, no man, this is for you guys for being here. This is mine. This is for you guys. And the amount of people that stopped and just were like stunned that I was giving away a shirt, and they were so excited to get something that they hadn't got at any of the other conventions, and they were just
mm-hmm.
excited to get like that exclusive color, and it was a cool color, and they were just like 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 really, like this is free. And I'm like, yeah man, like here, and guys were like taking their shirts off in the lobby and putting the shirt on. That's the stuff that makes me like just super excited and super blown away when people are that excited to just get something, you know, as a fan and for free, and just they're just that happy to like come and get something. They know exactly what it is. It's not like some like random shirt from whoever. It's just
Yeah.
like that's from Walt. Like, oh my God, that's a Cabal shirt. You have it in the double extra large and the triple X. I go, I sure do. Here you go. People were so happy, and to watch people get like undressed in the lobby,
Yeah.
it was hilarious too. Excuse me. At one point, I was blocking the exclusive line, and Jeremy comes over down the hallway. He goes, well, "You got to get out of the way, like, us, and you're blocking the lobby." And I go, I'm like, I didn't do anything. All I did was I got stuck. Go, let me go down this hallway. And I kind of like move off to one weird little side there, stuck in a corner where like where the service and the utility guys and the housekeeping people are trying to come in and out too.
Yeah.
Now I'm blocking housekeeping because there's 500 people trying to get a free shirt. It was embarrassing, but it was so much fun and so cool to see everybody just come running over and to get a shirt and wear something that I feel like I would want, and I wear myself all the time. My wife wears them. We're so happy to get that and like proud to wear it because they're just like it's like a recognition. Like I said, like hey, like Jesse's got one of the orange ones. Where'd you get that one from?
Yeah, for sure. And I love that. I love Nate's art on it, and I like Tom's new kind of like sci-fi look of it. But I remember I was talking to somebody. I don't remember who I was talking to, but I pointed at, they were like, I don't get what's going on down there. I was like, that's the map. I was like, that's Mythos underneath the face there. And they're like, oh, I guess I never looked that closely at it. So yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And I
yeah.
love the new, I love the new, the black and red stickers, like the kind of slim down ones.
Hmm.
I got one of those. I just put it on my parts bin today.
Yeah.
Um,
This one right here.
and while you're grabbing whatever you're doing, I know Len is probably never going to watch this, but it is Len's birthday today. So a huge
Oh,
happy birthday to Len. Uh,
I gotta text him in the middle of the night. Yeah. The there's the classic sticker that I
mhm.
have to give out, and then Len made the new ones. It's a little bit smaller, and it has. Let's see. But this one's cool because it like we jokingly like added the Facebook, Instagram, TikTok on there uh,
Mm,
because he's like, you know, it's one of those things like I have all those accounts and everything. And then the way like it's funny because like the way they peel off, you don't have to have like that on there. It'll peel off and you can just still have the Cabal. Um,
oh, okay.
yeah, and then a lot of people never knew what this section of it was. When you look at the art, and then I have the little flyer things that,
Hmm.
ironically, like it's just one of those flyer things that I never thought anybody would want, but I only have like this many left out of like almost 500 of these things, to where people put them in their backgrounds and up on their shelves and pin it on there, and it has both sides of the sticker, and it's not even a sticker, it's just like a promotional silly flyer.
Yeah.
But Len just thought these things were so cool. I've
Yeah.
left a few of these, but it has the colored sticker that, and then the back of it has just the plain black and red. But yeah, it has Mythos in there, and then the demon taking over. Uh,
Yeah.
but everybody always loves that and just thinks it's so cool. I only have 3 of these stickers
Oh
out of
man.
here, so this one left, but I have 3 of these left stickers from that week. We must have given out, man, like 500 of those stickers each. I would walk along and just hand them to people, and they were so excited. And people would ask for like not just one, but hey, can I get a couple of those? So
I just got last week after I got back to work. I just got my stickers in, so
oh, dude, you gotta send me some.
I'll send you.
I need at least 3.
Okay.
I put them on and I love those things so much today. I'm such a big kid. I put them on my refrigerator. I have my water bottle, and then I have my Harley Davidson, and I put them all over and I tell people those are all the people that I know and friends, and there's times like even today I went out on my motorcycle, and they people look at my bike and they're just like, wow, what is all this? Is this places you've been? I go, no, these are all friends and people I know, and I could rattle off all the stickers
Nice.
all over my windshield and the inside, and it's almost silly, but it makes me so happy.
No, yeah, I've got mine are all over my parts bins and my like iPad cover, and um, I got that wooden Cabal uh like laser cut wood thing.
Oh,
I got that like right up here on my shelf, and yeah,
those in the back, and then I was telling Len later how cool those things really are, and you could, if you spend a second, you like hot glue it or crazy glue it to like a magnet. You could like, dude, I could put that on the refrigerator. Like how that be? I never told like until I
I
think.
was I was thinking about putting if I get it. I don't have it currently. I don't have a Christmas tree this year. My old one fell apart. But I was thinking about putting a Christmas hook on it and putting it on my tree.
Oh, there you go. You get. Oh man, see that'd be cool. I'm gonna have to do that. I have like one or two of those things, but you sit there and you put a little hole in it with a ribbon. You can hang it on the tree.
Yeah.
The the refrigerator magnet one, I because I have a couple old refrigerators magnets that like the magnet like came off the glue.
Okay.
Been wanting to glue one and stick it on the fridge so I can have it. I have a ton of refrigerator magnets from all the places that I've been and traveled to, and but I want to do one where it has like the Cabal logo and you stick it on there and it's all
Nice.
I think
Yeah.
that was fun.
Magnets. Yeah. I mean, Jamie's saying yeah, we need magnets. Yeah, I'd get a magnet. I got the pin, the Cabal pin from Wolf King, one of my orders earlier this year. So
There's
those are
not.
cool.
I need to talk to Len about making more of those because there was like a Legion's Con exclusive one uh, last year. He didn't get a chance to do them this year because he ran out of time, um, and then everything else that added up and stuff that we were doing. Um, but there was there's like the black and red one. There's a glow in the dark one,
Oh, cool.
and I think there's a third one. I have to go check my stash. I only have like one of each, and they're really cool. And they're like just the right size to where they complement like some of the Legion's Con and the Intern for Days,
Hmm.
and they're really cool. I'm hoping to do. I gotta talk to Len about doing the Tom Whalen style because
Oh, okay.
I want to do a good sized pin of that alien purpley orange colors that he did. The art that he did is beautiful, and then to do it in a pin like that size would be so awesome.
Yeah.
I told him, I said, do a print, possibly a shirt, and then the pin as like a set to where. Um, are you getting into the cookies? Not, hasn't even gotten dinner yet. He's trying to get into cookies. But yeah, I'm hopeful to do like a pin, a print set, and then a shirt, and then um, see how that works out to where it's like a limited run of the Cabal art and that type of thing. Because I think Tom did such an amazing job of that, and I have, like I said, I have like um, Emil's art. I have another guy that did Schizo. He did like the alien, like it's like reimagined like alien with a giant eyeball on it. And,
Mm.
I had like four other artists that did something of the reimagination of this.
Okay. Very cool. So I gotta ask because I know you were there for GCon.
Yeah.
Um, I'm sure you loved all of the figures, but just off the top of your head, what are the first like three, four, five? What like which ones like really stand out to you?
Believe it or not, like one of the first ones that was like a standalone was the because I got to see him before everybody else, so I was like screaming and hollering, and it was funny. Like the first day I showed up, I walk into the studio and they're just like laid out, and like Jeremy and Joe are in the other room. It's like 7 o'clock in the morning or something, and
Oh
I'm just,
wow.
yeah, it was like way early, and I'm just in the hollering, just, oh my god, like the studio's open, nobody locked the front door. I just walk in, and I was with Greg, and we were there to help set up and set the chairs and get the studio. But I hadn't seen anything. I hadn't seen anything yet or nothing, and so I go walking in, and the first ones that hit me were the ogre. I'm a huge fan of like the big. I love the big
Mm-hmm.
figures. I just think they're so cool, especially to have like a figure that's like nearly a foot tall, and it weighs like 3 pounds of plastic. But one of the first ones that saw was that giant knight. I thought that was like the coolest thing, because it looked like a juggernaut, and I'm not into like the hero characters, but this was like one that I'm like, you imagine having like this guy as like the superhero knight, like you bring him in to help battle the bad guys, and then to find out later um, that they basically named it after like my buddy Greg, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like blown away. I was like, dude, and I think, and Greg.
Yeah.
Greg's one of the nicest human beings on earth. Like,
Yeah.
just like he beats you out on even being the nicest guy in the world. Like, this is just wonderful human.
He
And,
is. And
um,
just that grin did not leave his face.
oh, I have.
He's probably still smiling.
Oh yeah, I sent him photos and talked to him for like 2 days about that. But he's such a nice guy, and then
Mm.
he's done so much to help me out and hang out with him, and I run around with him while I'm out in Jersey. But to sit there and find out later that figure is kind of named after him, I was just like, dude, like that is the coolest thing ever. But to see that figure that's like it's like 9 to 10 inches tall of just armor and like
Mm-hmm.
colors. I was like telling him, I'm like, dude, I need like 5 or 6 of these things. Like, I could imagine them like lined up, or just having one, or you part them out and you could make like an accessory to where like you could add like a Bolthor and add just the armor on one side.
Mm-hmm.
To me, like that figure was like gold. And it was just the coolest thing ever. I think one of the other ones was seeing um, that translucent, and I forget the names of it at the moment, the translucent skeleton zombie looking thing
Oh,
with,
the builder pack?
yeah, where it had like the I love the dark armor, and then it had that translucent like skull with the flaming head, and then
Yeah.
like this look, and then the the bones of it, and like the hands. I mean, that figure, I have photos of it in like the tray, where it comes with like 100 parts,
Yeah.
and I'm like picking stuff up. I'm lucky that I'm me, that I can come and play with some of this stuff, but I'm like picking some of these things up, and it just reminded me of like figures that I always wanted as a kid, and it's like a translucent skeleton ghost, like zombie. Like there's like so many things in that set that I'm like, I don't know what I want with that thing. It's just like I just want one, so I can sit there and like stare at it. There's just so many cool, interesting parts, and then
Mm-hmm.
and then to realize like you could buy one for like 50, $60, and like oh my god, like if you get like 2 sets of those, you can make like 20 characters. If you buy like 3 of them, you could have like a whole army of ghostly,
Yeah.
undead spiritual.
You could turn all the hero figures into undead figures.
Oh yeah, like one of those. That was another one of those. And then it was that like weird translucent, and I had photos of it, and I was sitting in the crowd randomly, and I would mess with people, and I bring it up on my phone, and I'm sitting there like this, and I have my phone, and I'm kind of like sitting there, and I'd be like, and to hear like some of my really close friends that they knew it was coming, and I had my phone, and I just kind of went like this to it, and like they're like grabbing me like because they knew it was coming up next, like sneaking out like a video, like, and they're like, "What is that? Oh my god! Oh, what is that?" Like, just like it's coming. Don't worry, you know. And they're just like, to, and we ended up lucky enough that I showed like Michael Casper and Brad Jones. Those guys are hilarious because you know they can't stand still, let alone they quiet. They're like shaking the hell out of me, going, "We're in the back room," and I flashed the photo to them, and they're like shaking the hell out of me. I'm just,
I can picture them.
oh, like Mike had grabbed me and started shaking me like I owed him money or something. He's shaking the hell out of me. He's just like, "Is that what I think it is?" And I'm like, first of all, it's coming up next, and he's just like, you know, big. And then I did the same thing to Brad, and I go, "This is what's coming up next," and I flashed the photo, and it was just a quick little gist of the head, and Brad just yells out like, "Holy shit!" like just really loud, dude. Like he's just like, and his eyes are this big, and he's just like, of his crazy faces, and he's just like, "Holy shit, man!" Like, and he's like, "Is that no?" And then Brad and Mike are going back and forth, and they're like whispering, like, "Guys, like shut up!" Like, but it was so like mess with a couple friends at G-Con like that for the reveals, right? Like literally right before the reveal, and then I think the third one out of all those was just yeah, man, like when we did the reveal of the horse, um, that I got to see
Which
the
one?
the skeletal horse.
Okay.
Because we got to do that, and I got to do that with Brad and Mike, and then we did some of the other reveal parts of it. But that was genuinely like, yeah, whoa! That was like I heard hints of it, but I never thought it would actually like come to life. You know, that's not something like, you know, if you thinking like by a year from now we're gonna have like a skeletal horse that we could like have this like dead horse, and you could buy one or two or four of them, and like they're all like zombie horses, and like to me that's like, I don't think anybody was thinking they would do that, but it was one of those like, holy crap, that is unlike anything else I've ever seen
Yeah.
ever. And then same thing, like to be able to like pick it up and like look at it, and I'm like holding it like this, and I'm just like and not like blurred out like I'm, that's pretty unusual. I mean, I talk nonstop, but just I was sitting there at one point like holding it with when Joe's like assembling it and getting ready, and he's just like, Joe's like, "Just be careful with that," and I'm pretty sure I shouldn't be holding this thing in the first place. So you know, I think that's the one figure that I didn't think they could I didn't think they could make it. You know what I mean? It's just like to see something like that like come to like to be able to hold it. Like I'm sitting there thinking about it now, like holding it and then setting it down and just be
Yeah.
like I'm gonna have that like strewn across my like kitchen area, like you know.
Yeah. That one. That one's probably my just pure based on wow factor. I think that's my favorite one. The Conibus, just because, like you said, the like if anybody can do it, the Horsemen are going to do it. But like reusable parts and everything, I figured, it might be like filled in and just look skeletal armor or something. But yeah, they went for it and they did not disappoint.
And then, like, I'm hoping at some point, and I know Trevor's probably done like a million photos of it already, or and it's so delicate as a prototype. And I love hearing the stories of when he explains it. But I hope that they can take photos of it without all the like the extras on there. Just to have like it's standing alone, but without like the saddle. You know what I mean? Because I was lucky enough to like be close enough and then be able to pick it up and kind of like hold it for a second, look at it, and then realize that it's not just like it's like it's not just like this layered figure that's just one big piece of plastic and a mold.
Right.
Like you could pull everything apart off of that, like the saddle and everything comes off of it. I wish I'm like looking around like thinking I have one or something. But you can like and it could be a standalone skeleton horse with no gear on it. And then you
Hmm.
have it swapped out with like Balius's gear. You put that on there. And that's the part that like I mean, I was like shouting into Eric Treadaway's ear, like, this is the greatest thing ever. And and he's just sitting there going, like, thanks, Walter. Like, stop bumping. For him to explain it too, and of like all those parts can come apart, and then the idea too of that some of those parts are all interchangeable with existing horses that
Hmm.
I don't have enough money to think about like the potential
Yeah.
make like a horse with like a skeletal neck or like a horse with like skeletal leg or like have a Balius and be like, hey, I've got Balius and I'm gonna part him out and make it like a half skeleton horse and a half live horse. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Or like what was it? Pox's horse Flogus, where it's already looks like partially emaciated and stuff. Like
yeah,
you could mix those things and it'd be like, the full like a full zombie thing. I gotta point this comment out real quick. Curtis sitting here for the last hour with my kids, just started busting out laughing and saying this is Breaking Bad with Walter and Jesse. Someone else mentioned Breaking Bad earlier, and I didn't connect the Walter and Jesse part of it until that comment.
I get that stuff sometimes, but it never like clicks or anything. I mean, I don't have much hair left in my life, but not I'm not completely bald and I don't cook meth in the backyard. I mean, look like I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, and I don't either. I don't cook much of anything. Mac and cheese, that's about it.
That's so funny. Yeah, yeah, and oh man, it's random. I hear that at least once or twice a month still. Like and it's and that series has been over and done with for like a couple of years now, hasn't it? So
Yep. Yeah.
yeah, funny. Curtis, that was somebody who was interesting to me, and such a nice guy, super interesting to talk to at times and watch him, and then let him watched him paint a few things too, and then God, the extra effort that Curtis put in of helping Len and
Hmm.
several people in the beginning of the con. Such a nice guy. Oh man, like he's another one of those guys I wish I could have spent like another hour or two with, just BSing with and sitting with and talking to. But next time.
Apparently they cheered when you took your hat off. And I
Hey,
guess we're
for the
we're
longest
calling this. Go
longest
ahead.
time, I know that I had hair. I mean, when I I have some of this simple little head sculpts from Siba. He didn't know I had hair. Like I never. all my photos online and on Instagram. And like I always got my beanie on or my bandana. And I remember when he did that tribute to me and made a bunch of head sculpts. He touched. He said, do you have hair? I didn't. And I sent this, and like my hair was all crazy, and I got hair, and I say I may look like my dad nowadays, but I swear I have hair. It's just I love my beanie and my hats and my bandanas.
Oh, that's awesome.
What was that last comment I saw flashed up real quick?
Yeah, they started calling it breaking cheese
Oh,
and breaking the shelf.
there
Yeah,
you
I'll
go.
have to rename this episode. Uh,
Break yourself with
I
Walter.
see. I can't even bring myself to do the Jesse's quote on the air. I don't know why. I'm too embarrassed. But with legions, uh, um, no, that was a fun show. Yeah, man, those all those figures. But yeah, Sir Ukzak, that I like how they described it as like a walking cathedral, and I could just see that. Did you ever see the Resident Evil movies?
Yep.
It reminds me a good guy version of the one where they're in the prison and that like giant thing with the axe is just like dragging across the concrete floor.
Yep.
Could just see,
Big like
Ukzak just dragging that hammer behind him, like squaring up with like the orcs or whatever in front of him, or skeletons or whatever. And
there were so many memorable. I mean, I'm pretty jaded and love the skeletons and the undead. And but that really blew me away though was the seeing the hero characters. I'm not a knight character at all. But I do have like my heroes, and I'm very particular and selective because um, I always figure that like the hero should be standalone. If they're going to be very ornate and they're going to be very cool and decorative and carry these big, ornate, and beautiful weapons, that like they're heroes and they're winning for a reason. They're not like just your basic knight, because like I don't like the basic knights because I feel like those are the guys that just get mowed over, and they're in those movies like Braveheart. They just get mowed over in like 30 in
mm-hmm.
the first scene, and then there's like that one dude that's just sitting there, just he's knocking horses over. He's 20, and he punched out a giant. It's that kind of stuff. It's like watching Lord of the Rings, where like the heroes are so like beautifully done, and they're so talented that they're just killing everybody else. And those heroes that came out in this wave were just one of those. This They're just so well done that like I'm like, oh my god, I'm like kind of blown away by them, and I'm like, I want one. I'm like, I'm gonna get one of them, and that's it, because they're like they're too good looking, and
Yeah,
they're just ready to battle, and they're gonna like smash like 20 orcs before they get shot with an arrow, and it slows them down.
yeah.
First, like all those like skeleton figures, I'm just like, I need to win the lottery just to buy like skeletons, like so. They're just
Absolutely.
they're just so cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad they did the Sir Gideon because I don't have the original one of him, so it'll be nice to get him and get the Heavens brand. And uh yeah, I love that the other ones all come with the interchangeable skeletal heads, so you can have the undead versions of them too. So
Yeah,
um
Gideon was one of those that like I remember having him. I didn't like going back to like I wasn't into like the hero characters. I'm like, this is cool, and I traded him away a long time ago, and never went after him again. And then I have a few of the other hero characters that I like. You could make them more simple, and then have like a band of brothers type of feel, where
mhm.
you'd have like the Lord Viteris characters. Like you could have one and then set him up to where he could have two or three behind him, and they're like there's like your main hero, and then like he has a branch of him that fall under his flag.
Mm-hmm.
I never realized that in the beginning, seeing like characters like Otho or Gideon or even the dwarves that we were just like these characters are cool, but like I didn't realize you could have one and then have like a little division of them that match like the band of brothers, like they all fight together.
Yeah, like with the generic helmets
Yeah,
instead of the face ones and stuff. Yeah.
yeah. It took me a while to realize that. I mean, it probably like a year or two before I got into that, and that was also around the same time when I started like hoarding all my Malleus figures. So I was like,
Um, when so with your like journey into Legions, were you in on the original Kickstarter, or did you come in pretty early on?
I came in on, I came in right after the Kickstarter.
Okay.
I saw them online, and then I was friends with a couple people that were like, "Oh, you got to buy one. You got to do this." Trying to read that.
Uh, Anthony's daughter Molly says hello. She's watching you on the show right now.
It's my new best friend. Molly's super awesome. She just got like a huge scholarship, man. She's
Oh, congratulations.
yeah, she oh my God, got a big scholarship for college. I'm
That's
excited.
awesome.
Yeah, she's a lot smarter than us. So I didn't get into the line in the first wave. I saw them. I was like, these things look cool, but it was like a lot of stuff that you didn't. I didn't have them in hand to like play with them. And then I was talking with somebody about them, and they're like, "Dude, just buy one. You won't regret it. And like, if you don't like it, you can sell it and get your money back." And I'm like, "Yeah, whatever. I don't like really sell anything." So I ended up buying like a barbarian builder, and I was like, "This is like the coolest figure ever." And it was like set to the same kind of scale as what I was buying already, like the Motu stuff. And then like once I realized like you could take these figures and you have this set, and I'm like, this is cool. And I watched a YouTube video about it on like Pixel Dan, and and watching them, and you could take the parts and swap them out, and all of a sudden like I was like, oh my God, like I'm like so screwed on this stuff. Like this is the coolest thing ever. And then I bought like a second set because I was like, well, if you got one, you can make one figure and then swap it all out. But if I get a second set, I can make the same character but in the bad guy version. And then I had like all these extra parts, and then I'm like,
Hmm.
and then I finally got like Malleus, and that's when it really did me in, because I was like the hero and messing with it to where it was like I wasn't after like all the knights and the dwarves, because I'm like I didn't have all the accessories like the barbarian builder did. But once I got like the barbarian builder, and then I went and bought like Malleus, and I was like, this is like the classic like stop motion animation skeleton as a figure that I always wanted. And I literally would have a couple of them, and I would have them like simple photos, and he just looked awesome, and he had the articulated jaw, and he could battle He-Man, or he could battle all the guys. Excuse me. And I was just like, this is like the greatest toy series ever. I stopped like everything else, and then I would just like every couple weeks, that if I had a few bucks, I would buy like a new one, and I would just keep buying. And then a few things that I bought, like I would buy like multiples of one. I started buying like multiples of like Malleus, and like
So
one cool, but then like two or three of them look cool fighting like a hero.
so how excited were you to see Malleus was the bust at Intern?
Oh man! So I walked into the back room, and I want to say I was walking with Jeremy, And we walk into the back room, and this was real early in the morning, so everything was already like laid out. Like I had already seen everything, and I was already like screaming like a little girl, excited. So I'm like, and like we go in the back room, and I know like the back room that's like locked has a lot of like cool stuff in it already. And I've been in there several times, and they have like parts of things and one-off things and this and that, and it's all like shoved out and like organized in a sense to where like nobody goes back there.
Mm-hmm.
So I went back there with Jeremy, and it's all on one shelf. Like there's just like this shelf of just Malleus busts. And I come walking in there, and I'm just like, and Jeremy's talking to me about I don't even remember what, but I did one of those things. I walk into there, and I'm just like, he's fine.
No, he's not.
He's fine.
No, he's not.
He's fine.
Neil, he can't lift this paw. You okay, Neil?
Accidentally stepped on my wiener dog.
Oh.
Whatever. He's fine.
Neil.
I'm in trouble now.
I thought it was your sneaker on the floor. I wasn't laughing at that.
I know. No, he was sleeping right next to me, and I just stepped on my wiener dog.
Oh.
He's fine. Look at him. He's just mad at me.
Oh. Hi, Neil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, but it was so ridiculous at the sense of it was just one of those ridiculous things. I walk in, I turn, and I just like walked away from Jeremy, and I'm like, "What's all this? Oh, you haven't seen the new bus?" And so there's all the bus just laid out of all the Malleus stuff, and I was just like, "Oh my god!" The cool thing though is like I was super excited. Is I could see the differences. So there was a difference between like I'm like looking at it, I'm like that's Malleus, but it's not, and they had a different style to it than the original Malleus, and it was like a hint towards the new skeletons.
Mm-hmm.
Picked up on unless you had seen it, and then also all the interns got to see them in person and everything. So, but yeah, once we got to see all that, man, that was like so exciting. Ironically, like I didn't get a Malleus bus.
Oh no.
Yeah, I know they were made sure all the interns got them, and because I'm part of the company nowadays and everything. We make sure the interns get them, and everybody paints them, and they had just enough for everybody there. And I was like, we're fine. So, but they're like, don't worry about it. We'll send you one and this and that. And so I'm not super critical about it, but it was hilarious to sit there and see this big tray of them and watch everybody paint, and guys like Curtis and Noah and everybody else were Giovanni painting, and
yeah.
God, that was like amazing all in itself. Like everybody was like, "What are you gonna paint yours?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm not gonna paint mine," trying to like play it off like, "Oh, I'm not painting mine. Don't worry about it." Like I didn't get one, So, but yeah.
I just kind of finally today got everything unpacked. I was going to try to start working on some painting and stuff this weekend, but I didn't get to it yet. But I want to finish mine up. Finish some of the details and stuff I wanted to do that I didn't get to at the intern for a day. So, but yeah, that was really cool.
It was amazing too, because some of the guys that were like painting theirs and adding extra detail. One guy was making it more like a bronze statue,
mm-hmm.
To where it looked like a bronze bust. I have a couple photos. Who was it that they made it look exactly like the figure? with that green iridescent metallic, and then they did the skull. Excuse me. And man, um, there was a lot of good people painting there. You know, to see everybody like doing theirs. There's a few people that were just like holding it like I don't want
Yeah.
like, and I don't blame them. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and especially because it was some of the painters, like Eric LeBron. I don't think he painted his.
Yeah, I don't remember. I think Eric was just so excited to have it. He's just like, dude, I'm not painting this. Like
Yeah.
the hell with that. I'm keeping this the way it is. And I'm like, and then I know Joe Bonnie um, was blown away because the Horseman and Sherry came over and gave, handed it to him and said, we'd like to see what you could do. And, to watch somebody like him, he's such a nice, super humble guy. And he's just like looking at me like they just asked me to paint this. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, here's the Horseman and Sherry's like, the painter and they're going, here, we want to see what you can do with this thing. And he's just sitting there like I I don't know what to do, man. Like this is like one of those experiences I mean, like what would you do if like Eric and Sherry came over and be like, hey Jesse, I need you to paint this for me. I want to see what you can do. And you're just like, so speechless. It was one of those moments like it was so cool to catch and
I would probably drop whatever that, like I wouldn't like fully realize what they were saying, and like I would fumble it and drop it. So I hope that never happens.
and even Curtis was like the biggest kid in the place, and he was just painting away. And I know I have a photo of him painting away, and he's like in his own world.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure I took a photo of Curtis, and I don't think he was even aware of anybody else in the universe at that time because he's just like his smile's like this big, and he's just painting away.
Yeah.
Bus and I'm just like that's a happy person right there. Like he's just I knew he was having the best time in his life,
Yeah.
and like nobody was distracting him doing that. But yeah, that was so cool.
Yeah, and then they brought out the figures from the pop-up shop while we were painting it, and I was like, oh, that's not fair. Like now I'm distracted by
Yeah, I know they were, and then
That's not a complaint. That was a joke. That was not a complaint.
it was funny because all at the same time, and I had a couple people ask me, "Did you see what's on the list?" And I'm like, I know, I see it. And I'm like, did you get anything? I'm good. I don't need anything right now. I'm waiting till Legion's gone. And they're like, but they have a bunch of stuff, this and that. And I go, I'm well aware of it. I helped set it all up back. Like, that pop up shop that they had for everybody was just the best. Man, there was some cool stuff on that list.
Yeah, there are definitely some older ones because I've only been in it for about a year and a half, so there were definitely some ones I missed out on that I've seen pop up at shows. So it was nice to grab a couple from that list. Finally got a Delphina.
They had a few of the female hero characters. I was like, they're reaching in the back for a couple of those cases,
Yeah.
And then when they brought out like the Fury Orc, that was like I was like, man, maybe I should get an extra one of those just in case. There was some really cool ones in that pop up.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. So,
Well, very cool. Let's see. Was there anything else from the show that you got to pick up that you were really excited about from the convention?
Not nothing like nothing like I wanted. I have more fun and was excited to just see what everybody had been working on. And then because I was there early and I got to see people set up, that was one of the cool things too. I got to be there while everybody was coming in on Friday, so I got to see a lot of that. And then see guys like I said, Melissa setting up stuff, and then Lou over on the other side, Anthony with Noble Bear. There was so much stuff that like Len and Patrick and Anthony Halcyon had set up. I finally got to see like his big like dwarven balloon.
Yeah.
Uh, like a friend of mine that bought. What else? I got to see like Leland's booth. Leland always blows me away with his stuff. He makes things that I just wouldn't think of.
Oh, did you see the one? I don't remember what it was called, but it was like was it a Filipino ghost where it had like it was like disemboweled and had like the hair coming off of it?
Yeah.
That thing was crazy.
Yeah, that was like, man, he had a bunch of stuff that was like I was just I'm like speechless on some of the stuff he was doing. But what's funny is he'll message me, like a lot of people do, and say like, "Hey, this is what I'm working on." So I get to see some of it before it even made. Like the Immortal Collections guys with their like Oni demon, like that one that had like the 4 legs and was like sprawled out alien looking thing with them.
Yeah.
Arms and the 4 legs. I'm like, dude, what is that? And they're like, well, come here and check this out. You got to take it. What else? I saw a lot of the stuff that like, man, I wish I had space for, like stuff by Crashbox and Chris and him and his wife. God, he had such the coolest display, and man, like he had that whole corner of just like real ornate, like just displayed, and I'm just like looking at it, I'm going, I don't have any money for all this, let alone like area to display this. I'm like, dude, like I was back there staring, and he was still setting stuff up, and he would hand me stuff. He's like, here, check this out, and I'm just like, how do you do this, man? Who else did I see?
Well, Jamie's here saying I think she's saying she's the one that bought the blimp, the goblin blimp.
Yeah. We went over and she got the goblin blimp. And then so there's somebody I got to hang out with, Jamie and her husband, and we went over and talked to the video game guys for like, God, we were over there just hanging out with them for like 30 minutes. Just Robin, his team was showing me all kinds of new stuff.
Oh, awesome.
Then Eric Miller he had about half a dozen things that I was trying to figure out how to steal off of his table. Came because she was there to probably basically watch us to make sure like nobody took anything. He had stuff that like in regular display stuff, but then he had like a couple like that Disney tribute with a crocodile.
Oh yeah.
I was like, dude, that was like mind blowing. There was like so much. He-Man Mike was there. I love that dude.
Yeah.
He was so cool. I didn't even realize I talked to him for like 10, 15 minutes, and I find out he lives like an hour from me.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'm like, dude, I'm gonna come like to your house and eat all your food. You know what I mean?
Well, speaking of food, I got some guys that are chomping in the comments about the Wolf King announcement. Do you mind if I make that quick?
Go right ahead.
All right. I'm gonna bring these slides in here.
Collaboration.
Maybe. All right. So the God's Fire collaboration is going to be on Saturday, December 3rd, live, 12 p.m. Eastern in the Wolf Den.
Yeah.
It'll be streamed live in the Wolf Den and on Emil's YouTube page, so you can find it at either spot.
Yeah. We'll stream it live on the Cabal too.
Let's see. The notes here say we'll be working with the people in the chat to sculpt a new character and create a new bio for one of the God's Fire characters. The character will be part of the God's Fire series and will be the second member of the Order of the Pure. So there's only one character in the Pure right now, and that is the Unyielding. So this will be the second member of that order. In addition to being able to contribute to the creation, the people in the live stream, one lucky watcher will receive a sculpt of the head that they create, painted by Steven, a
Awesome.
Dark Templar figure. So they'll get the Dark Templar Deluxe Legion builder, a cape from Strutt Family Crafts, and 4 others will receive an unpainted version of the sculpt. So just showing up and watching, you have the chance to win the soft goods cape here and the figure and a fully painted sculpted head from Steven and Emil. And 4 other people that are there in the live will get an unpainted version of just the sculpt. So tune into that. I'll throw this back over here. In the Wolf Den, Emil's page, and if you said you'll figure out how to get it in the Cabal, the God's Fire collaboration live stream. So if you didn't see the one they did a couple months ago where Emil and Curtis sculpted the dwarf, the Chit Chat dwarf, which is really cool and has been one of my I'm throwing figures around. One of my favorite heads that I've painted.
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time in the Wolf Den on December 3rd. So definitely check that out.
Yeah, I'll figure a way we can link it into the ball so everybody can watch it and join. And at least, of course, make an announcement so we can watch it too. So.
But I don't know if Emil's going to wear the wig, but man, I love those Toy View videos he's been doing.
I just watched one of them last night, or the most recent one that he did with.
He's talking about the Necronominus wave.
Yes, I had to pause it a few times. That was hard, and then I had to go back and watch what he had said like twice because like I was just laughing over it, and I still again because I got to about like 6 minutes in, and it was just he's such a hysterical. Like if you've ever talked to him, like he's just such a nice guy that you would never think is as silly goofy as he is in that video. It's just like a whole different like persona of him.
Oh, it's great. Yeah. When he did like the horse talk and he was doing like the neighs, I was crying. I was laughing so hard.
Yeah. I like I said, I had to stop and like rewatch it because I was laughing over it so much. I missed what he. So I watch it again, and I'm just sitting there. I'm like what? Like, what did he just say? Like,
yeah. Oh man! And the one where he walks into the show from Legion's Con looking for Jeremy, and everybody's gone. That guy is an international, universal treasure.
He's another one.
Jeremy.
I wish he was like a lot closer.
Yeah.
Like I would see him at like once or twice a year, more often or something at like a show in New Jersey or something like that. He is hilarious. And freaking the nicest guy in the world too.
Oh, he's so nice. Well, we're coming up on 2 hours here. Any final thoughts? Anything you want to
I
tell
don't.
everybody?
Good Lord, I don't know. I can't believe you let me just sit here and ramble as much as I do. Like,
No, that's what this show is.
no, I just that's about it. I think I'm out of words. I don't know. That's
Okay.
hard to believe. Um, and I always want to emphasize that. Like, I have tons of photos I still got to go through. I put a bunch of photos online in the group. Um, I couldn't tag everybody because it's just I it'd be like 2 weeks later and I still would be working on that. Intern for a day was so cool, seeing everybody and hanging out with so many people, and always such a great event. The GCon reveal was just super awesome, and I'm just so lucky to have been part of that and been part of like two different reveals, um, which made me laugh, and I was able to have fun doing that with everybody. I got to do that with one of my favorite people, with Nate, and I got to do it with Brad and Mike also. And I got to, do all that. That was so much fun. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it was different for me because I'd already seen the figures, but I still was excited to see them. Like anything, I get so excited to see that stuff over and over again. Like if I could see them right now, I'd totally go do that.
Oh yeah.
President for 2000, yeah. Jay, yeah.
Well, yeah, yeah. Someone else said Walter for president earlier, and it was, yeah.
Could you only imagine if I ruled the world? Yeah, be too much goof.
It might not be a bad thing.
I wouldn't mind it. Of course, going back to it, like I said a million times in my rambles, like the amount of people at Legion's Con was just the most fun. It was like I joke and say like I got stuck in the parking lot talking to people, but it was just walking and people grabbing me and stopping to see people that I knew,
Hmm.
that I met for the first time, or people that I've seen 20 different times at other shows. That was so much fun. Man, it was that was awesome. It was
It was really cool walking into, was it Thursday night, walking into Bonefish, because me and Sean and Cullen and Dave Carbulka were staying at different hotels Thursday night, so we drove over there to meet up with everybody. And walking in there and seeing that long table with you and Nikki and Brad and Mike and all Ish and all those other guys, I was just cool to walk in there, and it felt like I was in because the rest of the restaurant was kind of empty. There wasn't a lot of other people in there, so I kind of felt like I was walking into some sort of like, mafia family gathering kind of thing.
yeah,
It was just kind of cool because we came in late, so it was fun to stroll in. You were all lined up there.
and it was so funny because I there and I'd warned them in a polite way. I said, there's going to be a lot of people here this weekend, and I'm telling people to come over to the restaurant. And the restaurant people were the nicest people, and the management and their card, and they were super nice. But it was so funny that the first night we went in there, and they're like looking at me like, and I'm dressed like this, saved or whatever. And I go, no, you guys don't understand. I said, we got like 700 people next door that are probably. They're like, okay, yeah, sure. And I go, no, let me show you. And I grab my kind of what we've been doing for the last couple of days. The manager kind of like then reacted and goes, oh, okay. So is this like a regular thing? And I go, we're doing it for this weekend. We're gonna have a lot of people. I said, but I want to be able to come here and tell people to come here so we have a place to go. I said, I don't want to go everywhere else, and I want to go looking for a restaurant. I want to come here and have 100 people at a time. and they really clicked into that, and were super nice and generous, and very nice people to serve and put up with us. And because I mean, God, we had big parties of that first night. We had 28 people at one, and they just kept bringing tables over. And I told the waitress, I'm like, just keep bringing them over. And like, she looked at me like I was like, who's this guy with, and knows everybody. And it was kind of uh, ironic because people would come in and they'd see me and they like, hey, and they'd kind of wave, and I'd be like, come over, come sit with us. And okay, and they plop down with us. And that first night we had, I think, 28, 29 people at one table. And we
Mm-hmm.
went to a restaurant just so everybody could come sit. And then the other nights there was just, the whole restaurant was little tables here and there of 4 and 6 and 10 people. And the management, the second night was really nice when they're like, wow, you have a lot of people that are coming in from that and I go, I told you. I said, I told people to go over here. I'm not looking for any discounts or anything, but I told you we're gonna have people over. And
Well, I mean, Jeremy could have gotten you a discount, right? I mean, he's part
yeah,
owner, isn't he?
yeah. Um, it was so funny. I don't even remember seeing Jeremy at that restaurant. I had so many people
I
over
don't
there.
think he ever went over.
I don't think he ever did. The manager gave me her card and was so nice. And eventually they opened up that back room for us.
Okay.
And they're trying to have me like reserve it, and like, oh, normally we reserve this on certain nights. We'll bring in extra staff, and I go, I'm not paying for that. I'm like, we're gonna have a bunch of people here. If you open up that back room, I'll put people in there, and I'll tell people to go there. They're like, oh, it's normally it's like $1,000 to. I'm not paying for this. We will have a bunch of people here. If you put us all in there so we don't take over the restaurant, that's a lot easier. And then make it part of the restaurant. And the management was super happy about that, and just convenient, and just go. So by like I want to say like Saturday night, I think there was like 40 people in that back room,
Oh, wow.
all at one table. And by the time myself and a couple other Eric Lieberman and a few other guys came in, they're like, hey, your room's in the back over here. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, we're gonna go eat, and they're like, no, you guys all come over this way. And we get shuffled around the corner, and then there's the huge buffet uh, table, and it's everybody.
Oh,
um,
man. I missed that on Saturday.
yeah, it was pretty wild, because it was like everybody that you could think of, all the YouTube guys, photographers, and everybody that we all know, and everybody was in one room corner, and they're just chatting it up. And then like, I'm just like, wow, like here Eric and I showing up late, and we plopped down on the very end with Colin and that. And it was so much fun. That restaurant, that was super nice.
Yeah, it was a nice restaurant.
Yeah.
Well, very cool.
Yeah.
Well, guess you're gearing up for Thanksgiving and Christmas soon. You were showing me some stuff earlier. So, got any exciting or special family traditions you guys do around the holidays?
um Usually just we my wife over there, she's like, we're just waiting for Grumpo and Grammy to show up this next week. um my in-laws are characters. They could be their own Mythic Legions figures. um we're waiting to see them. My son's excited. um Same old stuff, like traditional. We're making it simple. Just my in-laws and my sister-in-law's coming, and excuse me, my wife and my son and I were just simple. Nothing. We don't do anything crazy fancy. It's just we're just hanging out and gonna have dinner. And I'll make the turkey, and my wife makes the awesome sides. And
Awesome.
yeah, nothing too crazy fancy. If you're not doing anything, you're welcome to come over. So
Well, thank you.
I got all new furniture too. My wife and I, so got plenty of room this year. love to have you. So
Well, thank you. I'll be hopefully being able to pick my dad up from the nursing home to take him to his house for Thanksgiving Day. So
nice.
hopefully he'll get cleared to come out for that. So I'll be with him and my stepmom for or Thanksgiving Day rather.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that'll be
very
fun.
cool. Yeah,
Do you guys do that locally or at somebody's house or?
we'll go to their trailer. My stepmom will make something. She didn't have a huge kitchen, but she'll make something, and then I'll like as long as my dad gets cleared to come out, I'll pick him up and take him over there. This is like the first year he's been in something like this, so and if he can't get out, we'll go down. We'll take some stuff down there and spend some time with him. So
That's all it's about. Yeah.
yeah. And
Well,
I'm
that's
sure I'll do some FaceTime with my siblings and my mom. They're all around the country. So, and I could do a little spoiler here. The week before Christmas, I plan on having all four of my siblings on the show with me to do kind of like a sibling Mythic Legion Christmas special. So, because I've gotten all of them at least a Mythic Legion figure, so they have
oh, that's cool.
some connection in. So, so that should be fun in
Well,
December.
I'll jump in and say hi at least or something.
Okay.
I'd love to meet them.
They're interested. I mean, they're all interesting in their own ways. We're very, very different personalities across the five of us. So
That's cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Walter, thank you very much for joining in tonight and giving up 2 hours of your Sunday evening. This has been a lot of fun, and we got to make up for not getting to hang out in person too much at Legion's Con. So
Yeah, that was definitely the only downfall is not being able to visit and be with everybody for more than some minutes. But the cool thing is just like I said, just being able to text and talk and phone call everybody,
yeah,
people that I see regularly, and all the new friends and family, that I get to visit with and talk to. So
absolutely. Well, well, again, thank you very much. I'll drop you out real quick. If you need to go, that's cool. If you hang on for a second, I'll catch up with you as soon as I end the show. But everybody say thank you and good night to Walter. And Cabal above all.
right.
Thanks, Walter. Oh, sorry. I think I cut you off there. Everybody, thank you so much for joining in tonight. I had a blast. The chat was awesome. And just really enjoyed getting to talk to Walter. Like we said, we didn't get a lot of FaceTime together at the show, but this more than made up for it. And, look forward to hopefully seeing you at ZoloCon, Walter. So everybody, thank you so much. Have a great Sunday night or whatever it is when you watch this. Make sure you turn into the Wolf Den for their participation event for the creation of the new pure character from the God's Fire series on December 3rd. And I'll be back next Sunday night with a new guest. And Cabal above all. And I will see you guys later. And as always, what's on your shelf? See you next time.